Time now for our CBS 21 Political Insiders. Tony May, our Democratic strategist. Charlie Giroux, our Republican strategist. Guys, thank you for being here. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
A lot to talk about.
Yeah, good to have you both here. Let's talk nationally first. Obama's health care plan. Right. The Republicans coming in say they're going to immediately start to take action to try to repeal this process. So, Charlie, I want to ask you first. Do you think any Democrats are going to get on board with this?
Some will.
You, the Democratic question.
Some will get on board with this. Great day for America. The last day with Nancy Pelosi as Speaker. Wow. And now we get a chance to undo some of the horrible things that were enacted by the previous Congress. Unfortunately, the overall repeal of the Obamacare plan is probably not going to work, at least not right away. But what this does is it puts every member of Congress on record clearly and without any equivocation as to whether or not they want to see the Obamacare disaster move forward, or whether they want some reasonable restraints put on this horrible piece of legislation.
We're hearing from Tony. Tony, you have another side here.
Here. It's just, simply, even the worst critics of the health care reform say there are parts of the bill that they like a great deal, like protection against pre-existing conditions, protection for 31 million people who weren't covered before. If the Republicans weren't just going to do a political ploy out of this, they would bring up particular amendments they would like to see carved out of the bill, as they recommended that the Democrats do when they were in the majority. If the Republicans were serious, they'll come up with a series of proposals instead of a sweeping repeal, which will just simply be vetoed by the president anyway.
But the only way to keep the good parts is to get rid of this thing that Nancy Pelosi told us we would have to pass so we could find out what was truly in it. There's no question that the pre-existing condition aspects and others were supported almost uniformly. But unfortunately, the Congress last term decided that they wanted to go with a highly political process, one that didn't have any bipartisan support. And the only way that you can deal with that effectively now is to repeal Obamacare. But unfortunately, they don't have the votes to do that right now. So I think that ultimately what you will see is a stripping away, maybe getting back to some of the component parts of this bill that actually are good, but getting rid of the disastrous portions.
Now, I have to ask this. Politics aside, I think this health care overhaul has completely confused America, because you have Democrats saying this is a wonderful thing. You have Republicans saying it's a horrible thing. How can something be so black and white here?
Well, the American people have pretty well figured it out, Tanya. They don't care for it. And that's, the manifesto.
They don't understand it. They don't understand it.
But again, we had a bill.
There were parts that will be saved. We agree. We just don't know what parts yet. And I'm just saying that the process is more of the same kind of obstructionism is what's been described so far by Republicans. I'm for Charlie. If he wants to come back with proposals to strip away parts that are unpopular, save parts that are popular,
break it into pieces rather than lump it into one sum. Okay, we got to talk about Pennsylvania today. The General Assembly is sworn in. I'm going to ask you a Republican question, since you're our Democratic strategist. Do you think now the log jams will be broken up in Pennsylvania if the Republicans?
I think things will be much better in Harrisburg than they are going to be in Washington, yes. I think that the majorities are clear enough in both the House and the Senate with a Republican governor. They should be able to move forward expeditiously in a general way. Where I think the problem is going to come in is there's just some really tough and awful choices about cutting the budget, filling the budget gap, that I don't think anybody has an answer for.
What are the implications with the new leadership here?
Well, Tony's correct. It is Republican leadership of both the House and the Senate for the first time in a while, significant majorities. But there is an aura of we're all in this together. We're going to work together for the best interests of the people of Pennsylvania. Mike Turzai in his floor speech today said, I'm a principled man, but a pragmatic one. And I think therein lies the key. And all the leadership today said they were going to reach across the aisle to work with the Democrats to break some of the log jams. I agree with Tony. I think things will be better in Harrisburg, politically speaking, than in Washington. But it's still going to be a tough session with some of the issues that are confronting the Commonwealth, most notably a $5 billion budget shortfall.
That's going to be the tough one.
That's going to be the really tough.
Let's stop on the two of you agreeing. You can get out of the building safely.